how about giving us a little update on what we should be looking at or paying attention to anyway, Pete, as far as sports go?
Yeah, we Major League Baseball is always interesting, but I will say this. First of all, the NFL, they can't stop with news. I mean, they got news every single day. They got free agents and all this stuff going on with the camps and everything. It's phenomenal, right? I mean, anybody who knows why the NFL is 24/7, 365 days a year, it's because they can figure out something to talk about every single day. So they're still there, John, in the backdrop. But you've got the NBA. We've got this great, as we're looking at the semifinals and everything, it looks exciting. We've got all the right teams there from what it seems like right now. But I'll tell you what, Shohei Ohtani, everybody got caught up in this whole thing about the gambling and this guy, and all the different things going on. It really did bother him, right, Ohtani? I mean, the guy isn't playing very well. Well, wait a minute. It seems like maybe he does okay, and it just shows you who he is. John, at 6'4", 220 pounds, this guy is a great batter. And I guess the question I'll throw to you is, are they going to try to turn him into something a lot more similar to somebody in the past? Let me think for a second. Who was the home run king forever? Used to be a pitcher. I think that might be what they're looking at, John, is does he even need to stay and does he have to go both sides? Does he have to be a pitcher? He leads Major League Baseball in batting average at 353. He's tied with Aaron Judge. Everybody thinks he's the greatest home run king in the world, right? They're both tied for fourth with 13 home runs. I'd say he's doing pretty well. He's number one in the league in hits with 67 hits so far this year. So should he ever go back to pitching, John, or does he do the route of Babe Ruth and say, you know what, I can pitch. I was pretty damn good as a pitcher, but I think I might just focus on the bats. What do you think? I mean, is it smarter for him just to sit there at the plate and hit the ball, or should he continue to do both? Does he have to do both?
Well, we both know the stress that Major League pitching puts on a person's arm. Everything from Tommy John surgery to, just the wear and tear that maybe his bat speed slows down a bit. But he's certainly showing no signs of that, Pete. And a couple days ago, he had a walk-off homer to win the game for the Dodgers. They had about 53,000 fans. Think of that, folks. Most major league parks don't hold more than 40. They had 53,000 for the Dodgers. So you kind of understand a little bit more. Pete and I think, are pretty good at math. Mark's probably even better. But if you've got 53,000 fans, Pete, you can see how you can afford $700 million contract, because that's his deal. I mean, Pete, when they're going up against teams like yours up in Minnesota, the Twins, who maybe that stadium, I'm not sure if it holds 38,000, Pete. Yeah. Or you're looking at a stadium, down in Tampa Bay, again, maybe 30 some odd thousand. I don't know how you compete really, because you might end up paying luxury taxes and things like that when you go so far over the limit, but you can afford it when you can put 53,000 people in the seats. And that's what this guy does. He puts butts in the seats, just like Aaron Judge does. You and I both love him. He's, of course, with the Yankees just up the street from where I am. But, man, I think it's exciting to watch both those two players. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Judge is a great player. Ohtani might be just that much better, Pete.
Yeah, he's an incredible athlete. It's incredible what he's accomplished in his career. By the way, as a pitcher, John, he's 38-19 in his ERA of 3. So I'd say he's pretty damn good at almost anything he wants to do, and he's a big son of a gun as well. But unbelievable. Speaking of two-way, how about this? How about a two-sport athlete? Now, a two-way player in college football is a big deal, right? I mean, we've talked about Travis Hunter for Colorado. He came up, he followed Deion Sanders up there, and unbelievable player, right? He's a great receiver. He did a great job as a cornerback. It's a lot of stress on a guy to be able to do that in a game, though, because you're playing 60 or 70 plays. That's incredible that you're able to even do something like that. But I've got a guy named Jordan Fason, John. He's at Notre Dame. Now, he's a top 50 lacrosse player. So he is damn good. And there's a lot of guys playing lacrosse in these universities across the country. It's no longer this East Coast, it's just these guys on the East Coast. They have gone all the way East Coast to West Coast, and obviously in the Midwest. And I say that because Notre Dame is the one who last year beat Duke for the national championship. Well, this kid, Jordan Fason, is unbelievable what he's been able to do, John, because he's not only played football his freshman year, and all of a sudden he turns into this unbelievable player for them on the offensive side. He's a slot receiver. His starting date started at USC game, which is a huge rivalry for Notre Dame. He lit it up. The kid has done everything on the football field. The coach loves him. Everybody loves him. But, his real sport is lacrosse. And, John, these guys are the number one lacrosse team in the nation right now. They are just about going to the national championships again. I mean, it's really starting to whittle down. But what he's been able to accomplish, this kid is a lot of fun. He's got all the skills that you'd want in a receiver, but also as a lacrosse guy. I mean, think about this. He's agile. He's fast. He's athletic. He can do just about everything. And then you get him on the football field and they say, we just want him. They want him so bad, but he's a walk-on over there. So interesting to see. I'm amazed at these guys that can do this. Can you imagine, John, at the D1 level, doing what this kid's doing in two sports that are that taxing on the body? I mean, he's literally playing a lacrosse game, and then he runs across and he goes over for spring ball for football whenever he's able to. I mean, that's just how crazy this is. It's absolutely amazing. And my hat's off to him, but what do you think? I mean, I'll tell you what, Travis Hunter is amazing. This is at the next level of amazing, I'd say.
And Pete, in the Sun Bowl, which, since Notre Dame didn't have the world's greatest season, they started off like they were going to be and then, kind of fizzled. And there's only those 4 teams that get those top bowls. Yeah. So they played in the Sun Bowl and he was the slot receiver. And it's pretty amazing that he is, in a lot of ways, Pete, not only is he tough, but he's kind of like you. He loves to chirp. He loves to talk to the players on the other team. I remember, folks, that when Pete was playing, they had him mic'd up on the USA networks, and they had to bleep about every other word that was coming out of his mouth because he liked talking to the other players too. But yeah, I like him, Pete. And it's not that either Pete or this guy were dirty players, but they just love to get under guys' skin. And he's not a big guy, Pete. He's I think he's like 5'10", 180 or something like that. But, that lends itself well. It used to be that's what hockey players looked like because, they could be quick and move around the ice really fast. Now some of the big guys are like that too. But as far as wide receiver or slot receiver, think of like Wes Welker, Pete, or Julian Edelman for, two of the guys Brady loved to throw to. This guy reminds me a little bit of that. Now, it's too early. I'm not saying he's those guys, but I am saying, he's got the same sort of toughness that those guys had, and that kind of makes him exciting on the lacrosse field as well.
Yeah, he's a heck of an athlete. He's amazing to watch. He does chirp a lot, you're right. And I'll never forget our mother being very angry with me when she found out what I was saying when I was on the field. She didn't think it was funny at all, but I still did.
Yeah, you still did. And, I don't know if Ray Lewis talked any more trash than you either, Pete. We're going to have to get Ray on the show one of these days, and you and he can compare notes on trash talking.
Well, it's going to be R-rated.
That's all right. We can do that.